Hello people, and welcome to this introductory video on GarageBand menu functions. So I'm going to walk you through all the different menu functions you're going to be responsible for knowing in GarageBand. You're going to have a little quiz on this, so take good notes and let's begin. The first thing I want you to notice is the biggest region of GarageBand. This area here is called the timeline. Alright, and obviously it is what it says it is. Shows all the loops, all your recordings, where they are in time in your GarageBand window here. And this is where you would drag loops. Okay, or if you're going to record, this is where they're going to show up in this timeline here. Alright. Second, adding a new track. Let's say we have a few tracks here and you wanted to add a new track without pulling in a loop. You're going to make a recording. You click this button here to add a new track. It can either be a software instrument if you're using your keyboard, a real instrument if you're singing or you're doing an acoustic guitar, not electric guitar, or over here if you have an adapter for the electric guitar, which we may have some in class, you can use that, and that's how you add different tracks. I'm going to hit cancel there. We also have the beat ruler up here. It shows you where you are in the timeline by right now it's set for measures. So first measure, that would be the fifth measure here, ninth measure, and so on and so forth. If you wanted to view where you are as far as time, you click this icon down here and you can choose time. Now the beat ruler shows you where you are as far as seconds and minutes. The next area to look at, or button, is this here. It's called the cycle region. Turns the cycle region on and off. I have seen probably dozens of students accidentally hit this, and then this button pops up here, right? And they don't even know that it's on, and they hit play. Okay, and they say, "Mr. Kazakis, I don't understand why my song keeps repeating back to the beginning like that." Okay, so you'll see it does what it says it does. It cycles that region there. I'm going to stop this and turn off the cycle region, but that is a great tool, and we'll talk about, or I'll show you how you can use that tool to pick loops, how to use that tool to do recordings, and just keep recording until you get it right. Love the cycle region. Just make sure you know when you have it on and it's on accident. Alright, next we have the LCD browser. That's this right here, this area, and I already showed you. You can scroll through different views. You can do view by time, you can view by measures. Also is a tuner if I'm plugging in an instrument. Look, I'm talking like around the note of G. But if let's say you're playing a guitar and you want to make sure your guitar is in tune, you can use that. And then your project one shows you what key you're in, what tempo you're in, beats per minute, and what time signature your project is in. Next we have the track volume control, which is up here, and that controls the volume of individual tracks. So this jingles track, I'll turn everything kind of lower, and if I hit play and I turn up that, you can hear that track a lot more, or bring that down. Now I can hear my bass. Okay, so that way you can level out the individual tracks however you want them leveled. Loop browser window over here. This is what you worked with a lot last year. Hopefully you're very familiar with the loop browser window, but a couple kind of things you should notice here is each of these tells you, it will give you a menu of different genres or styles of loops. So if I want cheerful loops, I click here and it'll show me all the quote-unquote cheerful loops. If I want the cheerful, because it's highlighted in blue, and tambourine loops, I click there. Look, there are 5 cheerful tambourine loops. If I click reset, it brings me back to all these. So guitar or drum kits. I can also just click that again and it deselects it. So this is how you browse through the loops browser. Okay, and obviously if you wanted to add a loop, you click on it and drag it in here, and it pops it right there. I'm going to undo by Command Z. Command Z, undo is your friend. To hear the loops, you click the icons next to them. That's really short. There it goes. I don't know if you can hear that. That's louder. Okay, and the loops browser will show you if it is green, it's a software track. If it's blue, it's a real audio track. Tells you how long it is. If you like the track and you want to use it in your project or save it for later, you want to click on the favorite thing, and that's a great way, as I favorite these, to pull aside different tracks that you want to use in the future. Okay. Moving on, the loop search window down here. If I click reset. If you want a specific sound, I think it works best for sound effects. Like if I'm looking for a phone, click phone, boom, there are all the phones. If I'm looking for a crash, this will be interesting. Oh, there are cymbal crashes. If I'm looking for instruments, sometimes it works. Let's say I'm looking for a trumpet. Oop, misspelled trumpet. Oh, still no trumpets. All right. So it doesn't work with everything. Let's see if I do violin. Okay, so it gives me one violin track. So it works better, I find, for sound effects, but it's a good tool to know. Next we have the master volume control. I think a lot of you work in here a lot with the track volume, but down here is a master volume control, and it does what it says it does. It makes volume go up or down as you're playing the tracks. Pan controls. These dots right here, excuse me, are your pan controls, and there are two ways to adjust them. The difficult way is to try to grab that little dark area and then to scroll around like that, pretend you're grabbing it with your finger or something. But really the easiest way, and most different music programs work this way, is if you click in the middle of a knob. If you go down, it turns it to the left. If you go up, it turns it to the right. See, I'm not even touching the knob, but once I click in the middle, now I have control of it. Down is left, up is right. That's pan controls. Next we have the transport controls. Okay, who knew those were called transport controls? But that's what they're called, your rewind. This is very handy. I use it a lot of time. Go back to the beginning of a piece. And we also have the play or pause, to click to pause, and your record button there. So those are your that's your transport controls. It transports you through different places in your GarageBand project. Right. And what does it transport? It transports this thing right here, which is called the playhead. All right, and wherever the playhead is where you're going to start when you hit the play button. Start there. You'll notice if I hit rewind button, the playhead scrolls back. If I hit fast forward button, the playhead scrolls forward. Then let's take a look at these different tracks up here. We have blue and we have green. Blue are your real audio tracks, and you will see that they have waveforms on there. That's what those are, and it shows you how loud or soft the peaks are, the loudest parts of the track, and the small areas here, that's soft parts. But that's your real audio. And the green, that's all computer data. That's MIDI notes, musical instrument digital interface. It shows you where the notes are on, if you see those little dots there, those represent notes, okay? And when you record with your keyboard, your electronic keyboard in here, you're going to be recording software. If you record a voice, you're recording real audio. So software track here in green, real audio is in blue. And let's see here, at the beginning of the track, so these are your tracks here, and at the beginning of each track is the head, the track head. Alright, so those are your track heads, this area right here. So if I say, alright, let's click on your piano track head, you click here. Let's click on your bass track head, you click here. And that activates the region so you can edit it if you wanted to. Down here, next thing you need to know is a metronome button. Very handy when you're recording, so you keep in time, keep a regular beat. And if I hit play, this metronome is going to click at 124 beats per minute, or if I click on that and bring it down, that would be 94 beats per minute. If I'll click, 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 I'll take down the track head so you can hear that more. So that's your metronome. And you turn the metronome on and off with that. Next thing you want to do is look at is the Open Loop Browser button. I kind of already showed you these, but I'll go through each one of these. These are the different windows that pop up here. This is the Loop Browser window. I can turn it on. If I click it again, turn it off, so you see more of the track. This over here is your Media Browser button, and it links to all your files in iTunes. So if you have songs you've already recorded and exported to iTunes, if you have videos that I put in iTunes for you, they would all be accessible here. And you can actually drag anything you have in iTunes, any videos or movies, right into the timeline area here, which is a very cool feature. I'm going to turn that off. Now, right now my bass track is highlighted, so if I hit track info, this info right here, it'll give me the info on the bright bass track. Alright, so you'll see it says bright bass. Surprise, surprise. But let's say I wanted, instead of a bright bass, I wanted an edgy rock bass. Well, let's play it. Let's go to the beginning here. I'm going to loop a region so it just keeps going over the same thing. Let's play it. So that's your bright bass. Let's do edgy rock bass. Same notes, but a different sound. Let's do a grind bass. Okay, so it gives you access to tons of different effects. It's a really cool way to kind of make the sound of the loops your own, kind of make them your own sound. And you don't have to limit, just because that's a bass track, you don't have to limit it to bass. I can do, let's do an effects pedal or effects window, and these are more kind of stronger effects. I'm going to hit play. Let's click ping pong pulses. Maybe hard to hear, but filter can. Double filter is kind of cool. So you can experiment with that and get some really cool different sounds with your instruments. Next, zoom slider, very important when you're editing. Let's say that you want to see your whole project. You click on the zoom slider and, go to left, see more of what you're working on. If you go to right, you can zoom in and really take a close look at your tracks. And so they're easier to zoom in and edit. And I talked, maybe I didn't, but we're going to talk about now your mute button. If I wanted to hear just one track at a time, so I'll bring these up a bit. Let's say I just wanted to hear a piano track. See, that's all the tracks. If I just want piano, I'll mute the others. Okay, and there we go, I can hear piano. Or vice versa. To unmute them, you just click that and it brings it back. Notice when you click mute, they go gray, so you can't hear them. Easier way would just be to, if I wanted to hear piano, is just be to click on the solo button. So that is the solo / on solo, and it grays out the other areas, and all I'll hear is piano. Okay, and if I want to on solo, I click that and the other ones show up and I can hear everything. Here's a little user tip. Let's say you muted a whole bunch of tracks because maybe you have 12 tracks and you know I only have 3, but you've been going through, you've been muting the ones, trying to figure out how different ones work together, and then you want to unmute them, but it just takes way too much work to have to click each of those buttons. If you hold down the Option key, click on the mute button on any of them, it'll unmute everything. And the same works for your solo buttons. If I solo everything, but I want to on-solo everything, hold down Option, click it, and you on-solo everything. Alright? So that is just a beginning little walkthrough of the tools that you need to know in GarageBand as far as the buttons. We haven't even touched bases on all this stuff up here. There's tons and tons of stuff to know and learn in GarageBand, but that'll give you a basic walkthrough. Okay? So hopefully you took some good notes, because you will be quizzed on this, and you know all the basic tools, all the basic menu icons in GarageBand. Good luck.